We are back with a brand new video. What is good, Heat Nation? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Caleb Martin re-signing with the Miami Heat, Victor Oladipo's contract reconstruction, and some more stuff, going on with, the Heat news and rumors. Nikola Jovic's really good game last night against the Warriors in Summer League. So yeah, stay tuned till the end of the video, man. Leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. Go follow my Twitter if you guys have not already. It'll be in the description. I will be doing a Spaces probably on Friday, so if you guys want to just talk about Heat basketball with me in the Spaces, follow my Twitter. It'll be in the description, and also check out my second channel, which will be in the pinned comment, where I talk about NBA stuff, NBA related, draft related content. Let's get right into it. Let's start off with Caleb Martin. Kick it off with Caleb Martin's contract, because that was like the major Heat news for today. The fact that he re-signed on a 3-year, $20 million deal. Now, he already expressed that he wanted to be back in Miami, so I thought this was a pretty good re-signing. And I saw a lot of people saying it was an overpay on Twitter. I don't know if they were just trolling or like if they actually believed that it was an overpay, but this was like nowhere close to an overpay because his brother got more money than him. I think he's better than his brother, man. His brother's getting paid 4 years, $32 million, and he's getting paid 3 years, $20 million. I think that's a really good contract. That's the same contract that I think JaVale McGee has. So it's like in that ballpark. I think it's a really good deal. I think Caleb Martin is an extremely good player to have on a playoff championship pushing team, and he provides a lot of things that we lack. And one of the main abilities that he possesses is getting to the rim. He's an extremely good slasher. He's very athletic, as we saw. He had some crazy posters this season. His defense, although it's not as good as PJ Tucker's, who we lost, I think that his defense is still very, very good. And I think it can get to that level. And he's very young. That's why I was like on Twitter, I was like, I would rather pay Caleb 3 years, 20 than pay PJ 3 years, 33, because PJ's already 37. The third year is going to be guaranteed for him. Like, I don't really know why you would pay a 40-year-old player 3 years, $33 million, like $11 million on the last year of his contract, and why would you pay a 37-year-old 3 years, $33 million is what my point is basically. So I would much rather prefer the Caleb Martin contract. He's a lot younger, he's a lot cheaper. He basically does a lot of the same things as PJ, with the exception of maybe the three ball is not as consistent, but he's like a consistent jumper away from being one of the best role players in the league, because he does a lot of other things, like the athleticism, the long arms, in transition he's unstoppable basically if he has a full head of steam to the rim. Defensively he can switch multiple positions. It's literally just a jumper. And he's shown flashes of knocking the jumper down consistently. We saw it against the Bucks. He had like 28. So the jumper can fall, man. It's just a matter of just, fine-tuning a couple things here and there. And once he does that and gets a consistent shot, he's going to be an extremely good player to put in the rotation. I don't know if he's going to start at the 4. As of right now, he's the starting power forward, but I expect the Heat to do something to upgrade that position. I expect him to be a bench piece, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's closing out some games purely because of his hustle, his defense, his energy. It's infectious, and he's a typical Miami Heat player. That's what he is. So it's a really good re-signing on Pat Riley's part, and the front office. I thought they did a very good job on that contract. Now, the other bit of news was the Victor Oladipo contract, which got restructured. Before we get into that, though, shout out to Jimmy's comment on PJ's post. That was so funny, bro. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, go look at PJ Tucker's Instagram post and look at Jimmy's comment. That was hilarious. Jimmy got that dog in him for sure. But coming back to Oladipo's contract being restructured, again, I couldn't talk about all this before because I was at work, so apologies for this video getting published later. But Oladipo's restructuring just happened like a couple hours ago, that the contract being restructured. It's no longer a 1-year contract. It's a 2-year contract, with the second year being a player option. Now, I don't know how much money it is. Like, I'm pretty sure it's in that ballpark of 11 mil. I heard that the first year was like a little bit less money, and the second year was a little bit more money if he opted in. I don't really know the exact amount of money that he's getting paid for each year, but somewhere near 11, and he's getting paid for 2 years basically if he picks up that player option. Now, the reason that this contract is very interesting, and don't just look at it as like they just restructured this contract, because there's some deeper meaning to this. Whenever the Heat do something like this, they're planning and they're plotting something. It's not they just don't do this out of coincidence or just for fun. Like they're very calculated. And one of the big things with this contract is, number one, it allows them to stay below the tax. So that's very important to Mickey Arison. Obviously, he loves to stay below the tax. So I'm pretty sure he had a big part to play in this contract being restructured. Number two is that it opens up the possibility of Oladipo getting moved / traded this year before the deadline. And that was something that could not have happened on his previous contract, because there was some rule with the bird rights or something where you could not trade him. He basically had a no trade clause or something like that with this season on that 1 year contract. But now, since this is a 2 year contract with the player option on the second year, you are eligible to move him in January or February before the deadline, after December, whatever. And yeah, I mean, this opens up the possibility of him getting traded. And I'm sure that he did this for a reason. I'm sure that there was a calculated reason that the Heat restructured this contract. And this tells me that they're trying to, plot something, because really the only piece of news that we had heard before this contract being restructured was Caleb Martin being re-signed and Dwayne Dedmon being re-signed. There was really nothing else that came out from the Heat. We didn't re-sign any players. We didn't sign any new players. The only things that really happened were Caleb Martin and Dwayne Dedmon getting re-signed. So it's very peculiar that Victor Oladipo's contract got restructured now instead of in the start of free agency, where I thought it could have gotten restructured back then. But that kind of tells me that they're looking at the market and they're seeing, maybe a player might be available at the deadline or something like that. And that's why they wanted to, make that contract tradable if need be. So I think they're planning something. I don't know what's going to happen. There might be something at the deadline that might happen, but there might also be something now. Like you never know. So just know that the Heat are always calculating what's going to happen. They're always planning and plotting stuff in their head. That's my main point with all this. But yeah, so don't just sweep that news under the rug. You got to think about that, because the Heat, they definitely know something that we don't, or something like that. But yeah, his contract got restructured. After that, I think the only other bit of news, there was a bit of news on Twitter regarding the Donovan Mitchell stuff. Apparently the package from the Heat has gotten leaked, not leaked, but the person who said that the Heat offered the package himself, Greg Sylvander from 5 Reasons Sports, he said it on a podcast. He basically said what the package was. I'm pretty sure I saw the tweet. It was Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, picks, and I think it was maybe Omer Yurt 7. I think that were the exact words. I don't know if it was exactly Omer Yurt 7 or not, but that was basically the package. And now we all know that Utah wants to retool around Dono. We know they're inclined to keep him rather than move him on. But we also do know, based off of a lot of reports that we've seen today, especially, that Donovan Mitchell is unsettled in Utah. This came from Brian Windhorst today, early morning, when he was talking about how Mitchell was very puzzled and very, surprised by the trade of Rudy Gobert. There's also been reports from before about how he wanted the new coach to be an assistant who was in-house. Rather, they hired someone from the Celtics. I mean, from everything that I've seen, he was not the biggest fan of that. He was not the biggest fan of Quinn Snyder getting fired, and he was clearly not the biggest fan of Rudy Gobert getting traded, from what we've heard from Windhorst today. And basically, he just doesn't know what the direction of the team is. So I'm not saying he's about to request a trade, but I'm saying it's looking pretty likely that he doesn't want to be there. So if the Jazz realize that there's a possibility that he just doesn't want to be there, they might be more inclined to trade him. Now, I would probably bet a lot of money that Donovan Mitchell probably won't get traded unless he really, unless he asks out. I probably don't think he's going to get traded until that happens, because why would the Jazz trade away their centerpiece, basically, unless he wants to leave? Because their motive is to retool around him, and he's only like 24, 25. So I could understand from the Jazz perspective why they don't want to move him. But like I said in the previous video, I think the power resides with the player. If he wants out, I think they'll do I think they'll find a good destination for him to move on, and they will find a good package for themselves. About the package itself, though, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Yurt 7, and 2 picks, or whatever, how many ever picks it was. I still think they would want Jovic. I think they would want Jovic. I actually wouldn't mind giving up anybody except for Jimmy and Bam. Even Kyle. I know that Kyle, you probably wouldn't have to throw him in, because his contract, Duncan's contract and Hero, Yurt 7, Jovic probably is enough. But I'm just saying I wouldn't mind giving up anybody except for Jimmy and Bam. Like, I'm not really attached to anyone else. So obviously you can't trade Caleb and Depot and these guys until December, whatever. But I'm talking about right now. Like, I wouldn't mind giving up anybody else besides Jimmy and Bam to pull this off. Because frankly, like, none of those guys like really are untouchable or anywhere close to me. Like, Hero can go, Robinson can go. Like, any of those guys can go for the right price. And if you're getting a guy like Donovan Mitchell back, I think it's very, very worthwhile. There was a lot of Heat fans on Twitter trying to argue that Donovan Mitchell is overrated and that Hero is better than him and we should keep Hero instead of trying to trade our assets away for Mitchell and all this other stuff. Like, listen, bro, I love Tyler Hero. Like, he's going to be Heat fans are going to love him regardless of whether he's on the team or not, because he just fits Miami. Miami Heat fans fell in love with him in his rookie season. He had a great rookie season, especially in the bubble. Last season, he won Sixth Man of the Year. He's had some great moments in the Heat uniform. He's going to be a fan favorite in Miami, regardless of whether he's wearing the jersey or not. But Donovan Mitchell is a clear upgrade. It's not even close to me. Like, I don't get how people can say we should keep Hero instead of trading him for Mitchell. Like, Mitchell is on a different level, bro. He is, I think, leaps and bounds ahead of Hero now. Hero can get to that level, but the only problem is we don't have the time to sit around and wait for Hero to get to that level. Mitchell is already there, and he's not like an older player. He's only like 24, 25. So you're still getting youth. Yeah, he's about 3 or 4 years older than Tyler. So he is older, but he's not that much older, and he can do a lot more things than Tyler can do right now. So I think that trade is a no-brainer, bro. Like, you got to do that trade and pull the trigger 100% of the time, 10 times out of 10. So I don't get that. A lot of fans that I've seen on Twitter, they just don't want Mitchell. Like, I don't get that at all. Like, he would clearly be an upgrade on Hero. He would be an upgrade on any scorer that we have apart from Jimmy. And he might be a better 3-level scorer than Jimmy because Jimmy's not really the best 3-point shooter. So he would just come in and just be a breath of fresh air because he just scores the ball. He's a bucket. That's what he is. And I know Hero's a bucket as well, but Donovan Mitchell is a bona fide shot creator, bro. He's on that level that Hero needs to get to. And that's why I think we should trade for him. And instead of, I don't think Hero, unless Hero takes a massive leap next year, which is a possibility, I just don't know, because Donovan Mitchell could also take a leap. He's only 24. Like, they're just risks you have to take when you're trying to contend for a championship. And if Hero is gone, let him go to Utah. Like, he'll flourish there. He'll probably have a great career, but you just got to upgrade for now and just see what happens. So I mean, I'm down for trading for Donovan Mitchell. I'm all for trading Hero. I'm not in the camp of keep Hero and all this stuff. He can go. He's not untouchable. Nowhere close to me. So yeah, I mean, that I just wanted to say that. Last thing we're going to be talking about before I wrap up the video, Nikola Jovic's Summer League game. Great game from Jovic. I thought he settled in. His legs, he had his legs underneath him a little bit. His rhythm was a lot better, knocking down shots. He just had a great game, man. It was just very fun to watch. And you can see why the Heat drafted a kid like this at 6'11", 6'10", with the skill that he has. It's very rare. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we saw another player in Chet yesterday who was at 7'1", bringing the ball up and shooting Dirk fadeaways. I'm not saying Nikola Jovic is Chet, but I'm saying that's where the NBA is trending to. A lot of these unicorn-type players, these guys who are traditionally forwards and centers, are possessing guard-like skills, and that's what Nikola Jovic has. And he talked about how it was an adjustment coming from Europe. You know, he was more of a ball handler there. He was more of the initiator there. He was bringing the ball up. He was playmaking. He was handling the ball. He was creating shots for himself. Here in Summer League, he's been playing more of a stretch 4 type role, who sets screens, rolls to the rim, pops for 3. Like, he hasn't been handling the ball too much, which is why it's been an adjustment for him. But I thought he got more on-ball reps last game against the Warriors, and he looked really confident and really good. So I'm a huge fan of how he played last night, and hopefully he continues to play like that throughout the Summer League. Is he untouchable for me? No. I would still trade him away if I had the chance. Like, I'm not saying I want to trade him away, but like, I'm saying if you can get Donovan Mitchell, and if the sticking point is Nikola Jovic, he can go, like, because he hasn't done anything in a Heat uniform. We've seen so many players in Summer League play well and have not played well in the regular season. Like I said, I'm not saying that's going to be him, but like I said with Tyler, and this is even a better example because this kid's a rookie. We haven't seen him play one game in a Heat uniform in an actual NBA game. if you have the chance to take a clear upgrade, and that upgrade can, you know, put you firmly in that championship contender lock hold, because right now, like, I realistically think we're one piece away probably from being a contender, a true contender. Like, I think we're already contenders, but from being like the number one, number two team of the East, because right now that would probably be Boston and Milwaukee based on what they've done so far in free agency. So if you have the opportunity to get significantly better, you take it, and you have to maximize Jimmy's window, and if that includes trading Jovic, then he can go as well. I mean, I'm not really attached to him. He had a great summer league game, and that's good for him, and that's good for the Heat, because if the Heat want to move him for a big fish, his trade value and his stock goes up if he keeps performing well. So whether he stays or not, or whether he is traded, him playing well is good for both him and the Heat. So I'm very excited to continue, you know, watching him, whether that's in the Heat uniform or not. Same with Tyler. If Tyler got traded, I'm watching every game of Utah, because I just want to see how he progresses. You know what I'm saying? He's one of our own. So again, it's all business at the end of the day. If you have the chance to make an upgrade, and if you have a chance to maximize your window, you take it. And that's basically where we're going to wrap up the video, though. Pretty good discussion. Like I said, man, a lot of stuff going on in free agency. I will keep you guys updated, so make sure you guys, you know, follow all those links that I talked about. Description, pinned comments. I'll see y'all later as always. Peace.